Do what you wanna do. Do what you wanna do.
Hello and welcome to the International Music Summit 2014 here in Ibiza. I'm Pete Tong, one of the founders of the event. The IMS is all about gathering some of the brightest and the best and the most innovative minds from the world of electronic music together in one place, this beautiful island of Ibiza that contributes so much to the electronic music story. We're proud to say we're now in our 7th year and in a brand new venue, the Hard Rock Hotel in Playa d'Embossa, on which I'm standing. 2014 sees the biggest delegate attendance yet, and they'll be hearing from a great mix of key music industry figures as they reveal insights into their careers, share their way of working, debate issues and announce new initiatives. Just a few of the highlights from the first day included the Boiler Room's Blaise Bellville.
Those people who rip our audio and identify every piece of hardware used in the show and label every single song, even the unreleased ones, by digging around the internet, those are like the architects of underground music culture, and if anything, we want to involve them more.
Jamal Edwards from SBTV and Myles Leonard from Parlophone and Warner's.
The music that's coming out from Getty's studio, I think is probably some of the best music he's ever done. I think it will really, really surprise, you know, not just a lot of people here in this room, but the people in the clubs too.
Also on day one, Kevin Watson presented the IMS Business Report, showing that dance music has grown in value faster than any other genre.
In the world's biggest music market, the USA, dance electronic is actually the only genre in the last year that's shown growth. So dance and electronic is really the growth story in the US. If you take the DJs and live acts, the clubs and festivals, all the brands that is involved, what do you get to? How much is this thing worth? Last year, I stood here and our estimate was about 4.5 billion US dollars. In reality, this last year, there's just been phenomenal growth. And so we think this industry is now worth 6.2 billion US dollars. Okay, that's about a 35% increase in 12 months. And the biggest portion of that pie, by far, is the festival and club scene, which is booming, is worth a hell of a lot, and probably is worth over 4 billion US dollars.
We met the new CEO of the Association for Electronic Music, Mark Lawrence, who discussed the problems of how to capture dance music's missing royalties.
Mark, could you give us an indication with your previous hat on at the PRS of quite how much money you feel, from a UK perspective, there is that is not ending up in the right hands?
You're talking of a value of upwards of £15 million a year that needs to find its way into the right hands.
And Corona, Beatport and SFX Entertainment announced a new series of festivals that will take place around the world and centre on a sunset theme.
Our goal really was to try to have a real team of people who are going to work on this, as far as our mentors and our judges go, to get us to that next sound. What's the new sound? You know, obviously Deep House is very strong today and been growing and growing, and we want to see where it's going to go next. And with Corona, with this whole program, we feel like with these events especially, it's going back to the beach. These are beach events, and that's where the music's going to play.
Always great to hear about a new series of festivals on the circuit. So now, back to a very impressive individual indeed, still only 24 years old, the founder of the influential channel SBTV, Mr. Jamal Edwards.
It mainly started off like acoustic, grime, rap, hip-hop, but more recently I've been sort of branching out into the electronic spaces. That's like what I'm a big fan of. Grime producers like Predator and Flavor D, which probably no one might have heard of, but they've started producing house music, so it's like I've started working with them to sort of ease my audience into that sort of genre. I've taken loads of risks. Some go bad, some go well. A lot of people are sort of scared to take a risk. If I was scared to take a risk, I don't think I'd be sitting here today.
Ben Turner interviewed the Boiler Room's Blaise Bellville.
We'd start having a sort of weekly hangout where we'd invite different DJs, musicians into that room to come play music without any sort of fixed agenda, no rules. They could do whatever they wanted. And originally we were just going to make a mixtape, and at the very last minute decided to tape a webcam to the wall and plug that into our laptop and stream it. The next morning we woke up, and what was exciting was that although there were 4 people in the room, we had a couple hundred people watching online, and that turned into the kind of priority. So we kind of stumbled across it, trying to create a space where our friends could do what they wanted without the sort of normal commercial restraints. This is not a funded operation, and actually such a key part of our coverage is not stretching ourselves so thin that we have to start having the conversation that traditional broadcasters have or traditional media has, which is, can we put that artist on our front cover? No, because they won't sell enough copies.
Here's more from Myles Leonard, chairman of Parlophone and co-chairman of Warner's, who talked about radio's continuing importance in making hit records.
Radio is still the key driver, I think, globally for anyone to have a hit record. It is still the biggest medium around the world that is going to get your song to cross over. I think Spotify is, we've seen by the figures, is only moving in one direction. And I think that Spotify is going to work for the industry once we get volume and scale.
So that was day one at the IMS 2014. More from us tomorrow on day two, including keynote interviews with Annie Mac from Radio 1 and, of course, Mr. Steve Angello. We'll also hear from U2's manager Paul McGuinness, hold a debate with some independent labels, and get to hear the Pretty Lights IMS anthem, and much, much more. I'm off to the IMS Legends dinner right now to honour Nile Rodgers, then on to some of the label parties. Check out the internationalmusicsummit.com for more updates from the conference, and see you tomorrow.